I went through that whole thing and you can't hear me. I've been out for a couple of weeks. I'm out of practice. I apologize, but I'm here. I'm back. DS, can you hear me now? Tell me. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, chat. That's all me. All me. There we go. We should be able to hear me now. As I was saying, before we get started, shut up, Tim. Before we get started, I need you guys to check on your LSU friends. they're not doing okay today. For those of you who aren't part of the X family, the X Gump family on Twitter, or just have been living under a rock all day, the Tigers of Baton Rouge, despite getting pummeled by Alabama in Baton Rouge, they were doing pretty well on the recruiting trail. Brian Kelly was redeeming himself with a prize recruit, Bryce Underwood, #1 quarterback in the country. But as the clock ticks down to the early signing period, Michigan and Barstool Sports president Dave Portnoy came swooping in at the last minute to the sound of $10 to $12 million and have plucked Underwood out of Louisiana, and he will now stay home and play for the Michigan Wolverines. Asterisk. We'll get to the asterisk in a little bit. What's up, K-Spray? But if you all remember back when Nick Saban retired and all these guys started jumping in the portal, old Matt from Louisiana posted a little video in his truck on the side of the road talking about how Alabama's burning. Well, Alabama, yeah, they've got 2 losses, but they currently have the #2 or the #3 recruiting class in the country, depending on which outlet you look at. And they're in position to play for an SEC championship and make the first ever 12-team college football playoff. What's LSU doing this season, guys? Roll Tide, Brian. Tim, I missed all of you. I appreciate you guys letting us off the hook for a couple of weeks and letting us get a little bit of a break. Everybody was tired. As you could tell, it came on. The mic was muted for like a full 2 minutes before we even started, but that's okay. As I said, LSU, who had the #1 quarterback and the #1 running back out of the 2025 class, has lost that prize recruit to Michigan. Now, Michigan has also been favored to flip 4-star wide receiver Derek Meadows. We talked about Derek Meadows a lot over the summer. For a while, Alabama looked to be in really good position to get him, but it looks like he might actually flip his commitment from LSU to Michigan. The Wolverines buying a championship caliber team, if it can be done. But here's the thing. We don't know what's going to happen with Michigan. There is everybody who's been around college football the past couple seasons. They know the Connor Stallion story. They know what happened there. We just saw Jim McElwain, former Alabama offensive coordinator, retire out of Central Michigan. And so there's a big question mark there with Michigan and what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks, possibly with sanctions. There could be looking at postseason ban. They could be looking at scholarship reduction. There's a lot of things that could happen because of the Connor Stallion situation in Michigan. So it makes me wonder, like, who is looking out for the interests of these kids? Sure, $10, $12 million is life-changing. I personally can't imagine paying that for a high school football player who's never played a snap of college football. But when it comes to Michigan, going there, committing there does come with an uncertainty because we don't know what's going to happen with the sanctions going on there. We don't know if Michigan's going to be allowed to play in a playoff, if they're going to be allowed to play in conference championships, what their recruiting is going to look like in the upcoming couple of seasons. We'll see what happens. But I worry that a lot of these kids are being fed a lie about what's really going to happen. And to K-Spray's point, I agree with you. Great classes don't always equal great results. We've seen that. Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher being the most obvious example. But we saw it this year with FSU. They went in the offseason. We're going to get to Ty Haywood. What's up, Zach? We're going to get to all those guys. Just stick around. We're going to get there. FSU, first of all, they pillaged Alabama's roster after Nick Saban retired. They're playing with a third of their roster are guys out of Tuscaloosa. And they did this to a lot of people. I'm pretty sure that when Nick Saban kind of was talking about head coaches tampering or coaching staffs tampering when they found out he was going to retire, FSU was one of those schools he was talking about. But look at what FSU's put up on the board. Now, I'm of the philosophy that it's extremely difficult to build a long-term championship contending program by buying players. You can't just spend money to do it, right? If that was the case, then in the NFL there'd be a lot more parity than there is. But then you stick an Ole Miss in there to kind of as an outlier. I don't know, to kind of poke a hole in my argument. But we'll see if Ole Miss has just caught lightning in a bottle this year. So I don't know what's going to happen with Michigan. Now, there's a lot of guys who, if you follow social media, if you're on the message boards, if you're following On3, you would be led to believe are on the fence when it comes to their current commitment to Alabama. And a lot of these kids, two of them specifically, are Alabama guys. They're Alabama commits. Michael Carroll, Ty Haywood. That's what everybody wants to talk about, what everybody wants to hear about, Jeff. Everybody wants to talk about Michael Carroll, Ty Haywood. Alabama's already had a couple of flips. And we're going to talk about Caleb Cunningham in a minute because that one's very interesting to me. But
you got some theories on that one.
Yeah, I think we share the same theories. So let's start with Michael Carroll, offensive lineman. If Alabama's going to lose Michael Carroll or Ty Haywood, the guy that I think Alabama doesn't want to lose is Carroll. The guy that I think Alabama is less likely to lose is Carroll. He did take a visit to Colorado. If you buy into the VIP stuff for On3, there was an article posted today that if you could actually read it, stated that Carroll's like, hey, look, they did a great job at the visit, but I think I'm staying home. I think I'm staying with Bama. Now, same thing with Haywood. What's interesting about Haywood is Michigan, according to Haywood, has always been in the mix. Now, a lot of you are worried about Haywood because you saw a certain post by Recruits Bama. I love Recruits Bama, but I will say I know I'm in some chats and things with the person that runs that account. And I don't think that prediction was made based off of any inside information. I think that prediction was made emotionally. I could be wrong. We may wake up in the morning and Haywood says, hey, screw it, I'm going to Michigan. But to say that he's going to go to Michigan because Bryce Underwood went to Michigan doesn't make any sense. It doesn't hold any water. If that's the case, why wasn't he committed to LSU? Why Underwood was at LSU? I don't understand that thought process. I don't understand the logic there. And he's
and Keelan Russell's better than Bryce Underwood anyway.
Yeah, it's not like Alabama's got some scrub coming in at quarter.
It's like, the cupboard's bare.
Yeah, I mean, Keelan Russell's the real deal. You could make a legitimate argument, and I'm not saying this as an Alabama fan. I'm saying this as a football fan. You could make a legitimate argument that Keelan Russell might be the best quarterback to come out of the 2025 class. I think you could. There's a
pick all year.
Yeah, there's two or three guys that you can make that argument for. St. Cloud, I believe is his name. Is it St. Cloud? Or I can't remember. We've been talking about these guys so much. Obviously, Underwood, Keelan Russell. They want you to think Deuce Knight, but not really. And Juju Lewis, who everybody was really high on, but I when you really look at it, I don't know that Lewis is as good as these guys. But so where I stand on Ty Haywood, Haywood is a lifelong Alabama fan. He grew up an Alabama fan. He loves the University of Alabama. Michigan is throwing bags at people. They're throwing a lot of money at folks.
Lots of them.
A lot of money. Keep in mind, Michigan's not flipping anybody right now. They're buying people. Okay, that's what's going on. Michigan's not flipping anybody. They're purchasing players. This is what
they're not being shy about it either. They're just like
no. And I'm not crapping on them for it. It's legal. You're allowed to do it now.
Yeah, do it.
It is what it is. Yeah, it's how Auburn's got their number 6 class put together right now. If it holds together. Now here's the thing. I think a lot of what's going on with Michigan is still going to change, just because there's sanctions coming. Whether Michigan fans want to ignore it or not. There's some things coming for Michigan that are not, it could impact them for the next 10 years, unless a guy like Portnoy keeps pumping money into these players. Is there any smoke to Dijon Lee to USC? No, not that I know of. I haven't heard that. Hey, dude, USC's, they can throw a lot of money at people, but in terms of developing a player, that's really tough. I think Dijon's been pretty vocal about being locked in with Alabama. Roll Tide, Cat. So,
what's up, Cat?
Listen, you're going to hear a lot over the next 2 weeks about so-and-so's going here, so-and-so's going there. I think Bama could lose another commit or two. I think it's possible. But I would say that even if they did, if the guys are willing to flip this late, this close to the early signing period, they're guys you don't want in your locker room anyway. I want you to think about what just happened today with Underwood. We are 2 weeks away, a little over. Well, no, yeah, we're 2 weeks away from the early signing period. This guy's been riding with LSU for a long time. LSU is building an entire class around this guy. 2 weeks before he goes, nah, I'm flipping. I'm going to Michigan. Think about how cold that is. Right. And then Derek Meadows, who wasn't he committed to USC at one point, or I don't know. But anyway,
I can't remember if he was ever committed there.
He may not have been, but he follows suit, and there's going to be a couple other guys from LSU that are probably going to do the same thing. That looks bad on paper. It looks bad up front, but we've seen it at Alabama. Look at what's happening with Alabama's team right now. Right. We hit the bottom of the barrel about mid-season, and it's been building for a couple of seasons. We finally we lost to Vanderbilt, lost Tennessee on the road, hit that, Tennessee fans hate when I say this, but this Alabama team had zero business losing either one of those games, especially Tennessee. Vanderbilt beat us. We beat ourselves against Tennessee.
100% agree.
I forgot where I was going with this. Okay, I'm back. So
talking about we hit the low point of the season by losing.
Yeah. So Alabama, hit the low point of the season. So what you can look at is for the past 2 years, Alabama's been trimming a lot of fat out of that locker room. We saw it, I think, this past week. I don't want to speak on the situation because I don't know exactly what happened, but there was some toxicity in the locker room. We saw a player leave. We've seen a couple players leave already this year. It's been a rough year for Alabama. But I said that you give this new coaching staff a chance to come in, and I like to call it trimming the fat, right? You trim the fat, and that locker room now is very cohesive. The leadership is being listened to. Guys like Booker, Malachi, people are listening. They're buying into what those players are saying. And what are you seeing now? Jihad Campbell. Exactly. Yes. Yes, Kat, they were about that situation, I think. But guys like that, these players are buying in, and Alabama is peaking at the right moment. They couldn't have picked a better time to be playing their best ball. And you don't get that with guys in your locker room who are willing to flip for a paycheck. You can't get that. Am I right or wrong, Jeff? Well,
it's impossible to build any unity like that if everybody's just being a hired gun. And that's what these are now, these 1-year deals now. Now they hit the portal and they're like, who wants me?
Yeah.
Even if they're like the starting quarterback and have a good year, Kyle McCord, they go in the portal.
I can't wrap my head around paying a kid $10 million, man.
Okay. I'm calling shenanigans. I'm not saying they didn't offer him, but I cannot in my right mind think they walked in there and offered this high school senior $10.5 million freaking dollars. They don't even know if he can play yet.
Well, I think here's my rebuttal to you there. Portnoy, who is obviously a big Michigan fan, booster, a few weeks ago, he made the comment, I'm willing to pay up to $10 million to get Michigan the quarterback they need to continue to build this thing. And all of a sudden, Underwood visits, boom. I think they did offer. I think that now here's the thing, Alabama fans, because a lot of people are like, well, they can't afford to give out more bags and things like that. I don't think that money came from the same pot. So Michigan still got some money. Okay. I might be wrong with Jeff, but
Lance may be onto something here, because I was just about to say, what's stopping him from portaling after a year and getting, you just paid him $10.5 million. What if he comes in, he sucks, and he portals, or even if he's good and he enters back in because you can get another bag. So Lance may be on to something, some type of 4-year deal or 3-year deal or something. It couldn't be 4 because If he's good enough, he's not going to stay 4.
Or maybe Portnoy knows something we don't. He did just place a $100,000 wager on Bama to win it all this year. So, I mean, I'm gonna hope that he's right about Underwood, just so the fact that he's right about winning a natty, because we win a natty, it takes care of itself, right? Let's talk a little bit more about some of these recruiting questions.
What's funny is that at the low point of the season, we lost no one, and then we beat South Carolina, slaughtered Missouri, slaughtered LSU, looked great, and we lost 3. We lost 3.
Hey, look who showed up to work, Chris. What's up? We started a little early, Chris, because everybody wants to talk recruiting.
It's okay. It's okay.
Tim,
I've actually been talking recruiting.
Oh, I'm sure you have. So, Chris, a lot has happened this week in the wide world of 2025 recruiting.
Yep.
What is your ultimate takeaway right now?
Commitments they don't matter. Verbal does not matter. It doesn't matter, and I don't even care if the pen is on paper. Until they're on campus enrolled, it does not matter.
Woo! Yeah. No, I'm with you. $10 million if you play 4 years, $2.5 million a year. That's bonkers.
Yep.
Bonkers. And I agree. This is a great comment. I think these deals should be public knowledge. I absolutely do.
Yes,
if we're going to treat it like pro sports, absolutely. That's a great point. I like it.
Yep.
Man.
But but what happens when he leaves and he enters a draft after year 3? Is the money not paid to him yet? It's like if whatever year he leaves, that's all he collects.
I don't know. I mean, obviously this is contractually based, so there's got to be a clause in there.
This would be a first.
No, I'm sure there is.
Deal. Most of this money has just been all up front to all these kids. That's what Kubelik was saying that time. Like, just give him nobody tells him no anymore. Nobody, it's all just give him all up front. Why not? Just give him all the money, and then they're in the portal in a year.
It's wild. Oh, let's talk about some of these other kids. Zach, we already talked about Derek Meadows. He's probably flipping. Tim, this one's interesting. The number 1 running back in the 2025 class, Harlan Berry. A lot of outlets still have him as a 4-star, but he might be in play, and I know that makes Alabama fans excited because we just lost the commitment from Turbo Rogers. But keep in mind, Alabama's
which we saw coming.
Months we all knew that. We told you guys months ago that was coming and where he was going.
Yeah. And where he was going.
Yeah.
He's right about that.
But here's the thing with Alabama's backfield is very, very stacked. It would be hard for somebody to come in and unless they're willing to sit and do their time. And I would imagine a 5-star guy, number 1 in his class, probably isn't expecting to go somewhere. I know that's happened at Alabama before, but we're in a different day and age of college football. And so I would not get my hopes up about Harlan Berry. I did say something about him earlier on Twitter, and I think people jumped on that. Listen, I want to say something. If you're not talking to these players directly, and in a lot of these instances, we're not. Recruits Bama, he's not. In some instances, he is. A lot of these people don't actually know what's going on. In the sense of Ty Haywood. Ty Haywood literally said in his interview with On3, like, I'm with Bama. I'm committed to Bama, and that's where I am right now. But the smoke now is building because Michigan got the Underwood commitment, which I don't understand that, because if he wanted to play with Underwood, why wouldn't he have committed to LSU? But I don't know, man. What I know.
That's somebody that just throws stuff out. I mean, we're all really none of us are in the know for real.
No. Because look at Caleb Cunningham.
I guess I think,
Caleb Cunningham has told 3 or 4 different schools, I'm 1,000% committed, and then he's flipped, or he didn't commit to that school. I'll tell you this: if a kid says, "Hey, I'm 1,000% committed," that's a big red flag.
Yep.
I'm learning, and I will say, if you go to Tom Haywood's social
first
media,
indicator that he's not.
Yeah, his pinned post is 1,000% committed to the University of Alabama. So we'll see.
No, he's not.
Michael Carroll said in an interview that he's locked in with Bama. He was impressed with what Colorado did, but I mean, we'll see.
If you hear nothing from them, they're locked in. If they're out talking and saying they're locked in and committed, then they're not.
Yeah. Or if they've come out and said, "Hey, I'm shutting down my recruitment," and that's that. Keelan Russell, Duke Johnson. Who else has done that so far for Alabama? London Simmons, KK Deere. A lot of guys have done that for Alabama. Come out and said, "Nah, I'm good." Yep. And so, so let's talk. I brought up Caleb Cunningham. Zach. I brought up Caleb. So, where are we at?
This is not a big surprise considering he's from Mississippi, so the fact that he stayed home and the way it is nowadays, nothing's really surprising anymore.
Yep.
But part of me is like, I wonder if he's not like known all along, but he's kind of known all along, and he was leveraging his commitment to Bama into the offer he wanted from Ole Miss.
I'm with you on that.
This is where he wanted to go all along, but if you stay locked in, well, give him a little more. Yeah. Locked in. I'm locked in. Nope, 1,000% committed. Well, I double that. All right, give him a little more. Okay, fine.
Let me touch on
that's
this.
The number I needed.
Let me touch on this real quick because I want to say something. I keep seeing this a lot. And again, I'm not saying that these guys aren't going to flip. But what I am saying is that, yes, Jordan Seaton and Michael Carroll are friends. Absolutely. They were friends when he committed to Alabama in the first place. Seaton was already at Colorado. Mm-hmm. But to Jeff's point about Caleb Cunningham, yes, I learned something this week that I would have argued my ass off about leading up. And that is that the Bama bump in recruiting is a real living and breathing thing. And Caleb Cunningham is the perfect example. Commits to Alabama, gets that 5th star, NIL value goes up, decommits, and they drop him. So,
gets his bag, decommits, and he drops a star. I couldn't believe that he dropped a star.
It's kind of wild. And then, interestingly enough, the same thing happened with Juju Lewis. Since he decommitted from USC, he dropped a star. Kind of wild. Kind of very interesting.
Or Cunningham obviously has seen Ryan Williams play this year, and then he stumbled across Latia Brooks's film and said, well, I'm number 3 right now, so that's not going to work for me.
Yeah, and I mean, he can probably he can get on the field a lot quicker in Oxford than he could in Tuscaloosa, and that's fine. But now here's the thing: if you don't bring in a second receiver in this class, which I know Montgomery is somebody that Alabama's shooting for right now, but if you don't bring in a second receiver in this class, Kalen DeBoer and staff have their work cut out for them because they've got to keep these guys in Tuscaloosa who are there now, and it's kind of common knowledge that Bama's probably going to lose 1 or 2 guys off of their receiving core to the portal. And that's if you don't have guys go into the draft, which I can't think of anybody who should be drafting right now.
Nobody.
It's hard to say. I mean, how many times have we seen guys from Alabama go into the draft and they really had no business going in the draft?
Yep.
So a lot of crazy stuff's happening, man. The Juju Lewis commitment finally came in for Colorado.
Yep.
I think with Michael Carroll, you're getting a lot of that same hype that you're getting right now with Ty Haywood to Michigan because they pick up this big commitment from Juju Lewis. A lot of people think Michael Carroll is going to flip there. Carroll has come out and pretty much said, I don't know. He's visited one time. That's the other thing with Ty Haywood. He has not visited Michigan. And we tell you guys all the time, you follow the visits. So,
how many visits we have in Iron Bowl weekend? Do we know?
Hopefully all of them.
So, yes, I said that earlier on social media, and somebody already said it in the chat. Everybody who's verbally committed to Alabama right now needs to be in the Iron Bowl. And then you need to bring a lot of guys in. So, chat, here's what I want you to do. Yes or no, is Alabama going to lose another verbal commitment to a flip? Just yes, no.
Possibly.
You can tell me who you think it's going to be.
Keep in mind, a lot of these guys are Saban's list. And so these guys might be trading out, so to speak.
Probably.
I'm not saying they're saying they're trading this guy for this guy, but I'm just saying these flips are also, remember, these are Saban's
No, Scott,
list
he's
that he basically handed DeBoer when he got there.
He's not going to Michigan this weekend because he has a playoff game. So I don't know that he's going to be able to get to Michigan before the early signing period. Sam says no. More than likely, but I don't know who at the moment. J-Bake says J-Bake definitely thinks it's going to be Michael Carroll or Ty.
Yes,
I didn't never called it. That's possible, Lance. You know, a lot of these guys.
DeBoer got the running back he wanted.
Yeah, it was AK Deer. That's the guy that you wanted. I mean, AK Deer's right up there with Harlem Berry in terms. He's the number 2 back, and I think they could possibly be interchangeable. So
but it's a scheme fit too. He fits. Yeah. He can step into this scheme, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna get to playoff talk, Caleb. We're talking recruiting.
Well, I know we're talking recruiting, but has anybody talked about Keanu leaves?
No, this is true too. Carroll's going to be at the Iron Bowl. No, I don't know what you're talking about. So bring it on.
Who's that?
You don't know about all the rumors circulating around Keanu Cott leaving?
Oh, that's horse bleep.
Yeah,
I don't want to get.
People are running with that.
I'm not even entertaining.
Yeah, I don't want to get too deep into that.
Well, you know the reason why he got suspended, right?
No,
I don't know if I can say that word on YouTube without getting suspended. But
don't.
He got caught with a pew pew.
With a get.
Yeah, a gack.
Well, that's always good.
I mean, okay. Yeah, it's not
the first new rule now because
they don't
roll out the house naked, man.
Yeah, don't let people run around with that damn showed him his pee-pee to people, especially the coach's daughter.
Oh, that poor kid, man. I can't believe it.
I mean, like I said, we aren't even entertaining that. That's stupid.
No. It's all
dragging that guy's
over.
Name.
I will say,
all over the place.
If you're an Alabama fan that started that rumor, you're the reason guys like
you deserve media.
Well, you're the reason guys like the OC that was supposed to come with him decided not to come because of fans like you. So Ryan Grubb,
whoever started that sucks.
What do we do to get a bigger NIL? Here's the thing with NIL. This is a good question. I like it.
Get richer alumni.
Break this down for you. Nobody has unlimited NIL except maybe one. So,
I think it's
in Michigan apparently.
It's even limited there.
Well, I think here's the thing with NIL. There's 2 things that you have to consider. First and foremost, it is very hard to go out, buy a bunch of players, and build a team that's going to be championship caliber. We've already talked about that. The second thing is with NIL, there's 2 different ways you can approach it. Okay, you can either do what Auburn's doing right now, go out and blow your load on one class and hope that class performs well enough to kind of sustain other classes down the road. Or you can strategically budget out your NIL. Here's the thing with Alabama, and I can't remember where I saw this. I'm completely still in this, but somebody had a conversation with guys like Courtney Morgan about Alabama's NIL, and Alabama's not going to pay somebody more than they're worth right now because they're strategically planning out their NIL. Alabama does not have the strongest NIL in college football. No. We know that. That's okay right now. People can, sub to things like Yay Alabama, things like that. That helps. I think what's more important, though, is that fans support these player-led businesses. So like the New Wave podcast, right? I think it's very important that, Bach and Ryan Williams get the support from the fans there because what they're building a multi-million-dollar sustainability model, right? They're building a sustainable resource for themselves outside of football. I can give Ryan Williams $10 million, but what does he do when it's gone? He's still got his podcast to fall back on. It's going to do way better, and the longevity is going to be better than the Hawk Tua girl. And so, that's the deal with NIL, man. You have to be smart about how you do it if you're not, if you don't have Nike money or like that coming in. So, Chris, that he did not DM DeBoer.
No, Chris, that's a complete.
That's what we just went over that.
Thanks, AK.
We just got here. Okay. Yeah. Anybody believes that I got some oceanfront property to sell you?
I want to sing it, but I can't.
That's AK Deer in the chat, by the way. He's our
yeah, guys. This is the AK Deer.
It is him, AK.
Follow his
Confirm your
lead.
commitment right now, AK. Just so everybody
Thank
knows.
you. Tell him you're locked in and you're shutting down your recruitment. But much like AK Deer, we need you all to do the same thing. Leave a comment, like the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Follow us on Twitter. That would be X for this new gen.
Awesome.
At Waaaay Offsides everything. It's going to be Waaaay Offsides Cotton, Chris, and Jeff. Don't worry about Bill. Bill is off defending our nation's freedom at the beach. And so
I was about to say, in Texas.
Anyway, so the recruiting world's crazy, guys. A lot we've been telling you guys, even when Alabama had the number 1 class, it's not going to stay that way. It is constantly fluid, especially in today's era. A lot is going to change. That is going to continue over the next 2 weeks. If you can't handle it, unfollow Hayes Fawcett. Get off social media for a little while, because anytime somebody decommits from Alabama or flips or whatever, they're what's going on in Tuscaloosa? What's wrong with Tuscaloosa? Guess what? No matter what's happening on social media regarding recruiting, Alabama plays a damn game on Saturday on the road at Oklahoma, hoping to keep their playoff chances alive. So maybe we focus on that, because
we owe Oklahoma. Okay.
Yes.
Because Tyler friggin' Watts and his backwards pass in 2002, as we were driving down the field to tie or win the game, and Watts goes reverse pass, and the guy scoops it up and scores a touchdown. We lost by 10 in Norman. And then Fran left in the offseason to go to A&M. Like that, I had never been so mad in my life watching that Oklahoma game. And Watts has, to this day, never addressed it. Didn't address it in the post game that night. Hasn't all these years listening to Bloviate on the radio. He's never once addressed that play, and I'm sick of it. And every time I hear his voice, all I hear is that play, and I don't.
You okay?
So yeah. Some wounds don't ever heal. Okay, Garrick Dieter dropping the only pass we threw him all year in 2016. Yeah, that wound is wide open, gushing blood.
Tim's with you. He vividly remembers that play. He knows what's up. So
you talking about the Oklahoma game?
Yeah, I think
Tim. Yeah, if you're talking about the Oklahoma game, yes, because Bama onside kicked at that game. Fran did an onside kick that game that we got, and man, we were cooking, man. And Oklahoma was up 3 late in that game, and we were driving down, moving the ball, and we are going to kick a field goal to at least tie it or try to win it. And Watts went.
Guys, chat. What's your moment? What's your moment, your Alabama football moment that just never quite healed right? And don't say kick 6, because we all know that one sucked. But what's that moment in your gut that just never quite healed? Chris, I know you've got a good one. Slap hand.
What's yours?
Tyrone Profro.
Oh. Why was he in the game?
I have no idea.
You're up 30. What is it? 33-3 at Florida.
31-7. We were up.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Same thing. I'll see you in the game. Oh, that is a good one.
And the whole offense went right in the tank because our offense was cooking that year.
Yeah.
And then he went in the tank, and we had to grind out every game after that, and we couldn't beat LSU because we couldn't score. Remember that bowl game? We scored a touchdown on the first play, and the final score of the game was 10-3, I think.
Yeah. I think for me, it was the Clemson National Championship, having to watch, not the Trevor Lawrence year, but having to watch
2016
Watson just go straight down the field. And there's nothing you could do about it. You just knew it's because of that.
Garrick Dieter dropped the freaking ball.
I know. Yeah, I know.
That would have bled another 2 minutes off the.
I know. And then that stupid pick play. Oh.
Anyway, okay.
Oh, he's angry.
It's angry Joe.
Yeah. He's an angry
things, man. I get way too into these things, but yes, I'm with you in 16.
I'm a real boy.
That was a gut wrench one, because that was the best defense I'd ever seen, and you can't, even the best defense ever, you can't run a guy like Deshaun Watson out there for 99 plays and say, "Hey, stop him."
We don't say that name around these parts, Howard. The 19th year freshman or senior. I've learned to block out all the trauma. I think for me, last year the bad snap in overtime was that was pretty rough to watch too. Which, by the way, I know that a lot of y'all hate Seth because of, he practically cost us a national title and then transferred, but definitely best of wishes. His season's over with a practice injury. That's tough, man. That's really tough.
I believe that's it for his college career. I don't think he has any eligibility left.
Yeah. Well, he may. Who knows? The NCAA gives out eligibility.
They give everybody years now. I mean, you got 28, 27, 28, 29-year-olds playing now. So
it's like Oprah giving out cars, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, Lance, I agree with you there. That whole game was just
Miami with his on his 9th year of eligibility. So.
Yes, McCormick I think is his name.
Yeah, that's true too, K-Spray. And then of course JMO, him going down to the Natty that year, that was tough to swallow too. Do you guys see a trend here? We just make excuses for every game we lose.
That's
it.
Well, if this happened, we didn't lose.
I don't have an excuse for this one, but one that tore me up. What's up, Eric D? One that tore me up was 2002 Georgia. Because Charlie Pepper pick six late in that game, and that's that moment in the 0-2 Florida basketball game where Petway hit the layup. Those are the two moments where I say were my peak in terms of in-person excitement. Not like the best games, but in that moment of pandemonium when you're celebrating a Bama win, in that vacuum of emotion, those two moments were as hyped as I think I've ever been in person. And then we ended up losing that Georgia game. You remember, because our kicker was hurt and our punter was having to kick field goals, and so he was terrible. And he averaged about 22 yards a punt. Michael Ziffel, you're still out there. And he ducked one out deep in our own territory one time, and Georgia kicked a field goal and won the game. And I just remember that just tore me up because of how happy I was when Pepper picked six that. And I thought we had something with Fran and with beating, we're going to beat Georgia and all this stuff. And then Fran checked out and we lost Auburn and he left, and, but all things led to the Saban era. So it's all, all
and here we are now.
I mentioned pre-Saban led to the Saban era. So I'll take it all.
And here we are now with Coach DeBoer, who, by the way, is the first-time head coach at Alabama to win 8 games in his inaugural season. Pretty big deal. I think. And I know the naysayers are, he's doing it with Saban's players. It doesn't matter. He's doing it. And,
still have to coach him.
Yeah. You still got to coach him. Still got to get him on the field. And he lost like half his roster. So, which leads me
within 20 minutes of him getting there. I mean, he was landing on the strip, and guys were portaling left and right.
Yeah. Which, hey, man, what's cracking me up is these LSU fans calling for Brian Kelly's head.
Yeah.
They think it's bad losing a couple of commitment flips. Wait until your head coach is going. Wait. Do it. Absolutely fire him. Fire him. You're not going to have a football team to field next season. We promise. So,
nope.
Good Lord. I think Alabama fans still have PTSD from Hayes Fawcett and those flip graphics.
Yeah.
There were nights where I was texting Chris.
Never
going to stop.
His but his graphics lately, they've just fallen off.
They are. They're just oversaturated pieces of garbage.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say that
it's confusing. You're reading the graphic and you're like, good Lord, I got to take a Tylenol.
Epileptic. Don't look at Hayes Fawcett's graphics.
Aaron Anderson never should have left.
Yeah, I'll take Aaron Anderson back too in a heartbeat.
Yeah. I guess he's from Louisiana, so I guess
he's going to
home
stay.
came calling. But
you wouldn't hear me crying about Caleb Cunningham if we got Aaron Anderson back. I promise you that. But we do have a guy named Kendrick Law. If they would utilize him a little more, you could tell they were trying.
Good. We got Rico, Jalen Hales coming back next year. Hollywood, Latsier, Brooks, dude.
If they can keep Caleb Odom.
Caleb may have seen that and said,
yeah, we'll see.
I'm like 3, 4, 5 on the depth.
Trade Law. We're trading players now. I love it, Lance.
That's coming, Lance.
Yeah, that's trade deadline's coming, man. Absolutely.
Trade deadlines are coming. You're gonna look at NFL Junior.
Yep.
It's the tsunami. You can't stop it. You can just sit back and watch or try to slow it down. You can't stop it.
Yeah, Derek Meadows is going to end up at Michigan. That's already.
We really wanted Meadows earlier during our Whoop series, and we were like salivating over Meadows.
Yeah, I wanted Meadows bad, but I mean, Odom is supposed to be what we thought Derek Meadows would be, but we just haven't been using him, man. I will say this. I have a feeling that these next few games, Caleb Odom is going to get some looks. Man, that layout that he had against Mercer last weekend, that was beautiful. I haven't seen a receiver do that for Alabama in a long time. And I think that they'll reward him for that. If that ball was just a little bit more air under it, that is a thing. That's a Daniel Moore painting right there. And so, anyway,
Mercer on a Daniel Moore painting.
So I know you guys all love recruiting.
The one with Pro.
Yeah, I know you guys all love. Go ahead, Jeff.
But we're not throwing a lot either. You know, Milroe having 15 to 18 attempts. That's the winning formula. That's how we're going to win the championship. Is throwing the ball between 15 and 18 times. I don't think anybody can slow down our running attack if Jalen runs it between 15 and 20 times.
No, I'm with you.
Designed runs, but just some type of running that many times.
And at this point, you're what you're really doing is you're supplementing what the defense is evolving into. Right. Because right now the strength of Alabama is that swarm defense. It's that. You know, it really
Here's
is.
another thing. We're actually putting drives together now, multiple play drives, and the defense isn't on the bench for 45 seconds and then they're right back out having to defend a no huddle or a spread. You know, they're actually sitting over there catching their wind, scheming, still studying, you know, getting their legs up under them again and then unleashing when they get out there. It's a noticeable difference in the defense since the offense started churning out drives.
Absolutely. And look, I think a lot of people wrote Alabama off after the Vandy game. And I don't want to take away the sting of that loss. It stings to lose to Vanderbilt no matter how good they are. But that definitely is not your grandpappy's Vanderbilt team. And then if you go back and watch the Tennessee game, Alabama was in position to win that game several times. And we just it wasn't that Tennessee's defense was locking us down. It was just Milroe was off. I'm convinced he was hurt, dinged up. Because even when he's off, he's rarely that off.
He was off that night for whatever reason. Whether he was sick, whether he had a virus, whether he was fighting something, whether he was dinged a little bit.
Yeah. But
he's turning pro.
Yeah, I think so too. He's starting to get a lot more love. Pat McAfee was talking him up big time today. So
yeah. And what's 13 more college games going to do for Milroe?
Nothing.
It's not going to improve his draft stock.
Look. These NFL coaches and these scouts absolutely adored Anthony Richardson. Absolutely loved the kid.
And he was terrible
is better. Yeah, and Milroe is better than Anthony Richardson.
I mean, DJ Lagway is better than Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, he is. Speaking of we're going to get to that. So because of all of this, you know, what you've seen is Alabama kind of mature into itself, and you can feel it. They're starting to kind of learn their identity. And I think Alabama fans are getting a little excited about it because it's starting to look a little more like those Saban era teams that we're used to, you know. So Alabama has found itself not only back in the race for a national championship and playoff spot, but for the SEC championship. And chat, this is where you come in. I know there's different philosophies here. If Alabama goes into the SEC championship and loses to Texas as a 3-loss team. Not if you think. I don't want to hear if you think because I know we all think they should. Would the committee put a 3-loss Alabama team in the playoff? Where would they be sitting?
Wait. How close is the loss?
Doesn't matter.
10 points?
Yeah.
I don't think they leave them out.
Really?
I think they're putting whoever plays in the SEC championship game is in, regardless of the winner.
Whoever plays in the Big Ten championship games probably in.
Based on what?
Based on they're not going to leave out the SEC runner-up.
Why? Because of strength of schedule?
Or the Big Ten runner-up.
And money.
Yeah.
Money.
Well, yes, money definitely plays a role in it. But if money was the determining factor, Indiana with 117th strength of schedule would not be sitting, you know, where are they? Number 6 right now?
Well, they're the only reason if they were 9-1, they wouldn't even be in here. But because they're 10-0, you have to put them in there because they're undefeated.
So if
Not in
Indiana
the
loses,
playoff.
if Indiana
I'm
loses,
talking
are
about in
they
this
out?
discussion.
If Indiana
What's
loses,
that?
are they out of the playoff?
I don't know. I don't. It's going to be hard to say. You know, a lot of people's hating on Indiana, and they haven't played anyone.
No, they have not.
But
One team
neither
with
has
a winning
Colorado.
record.
right. But I mean, just like with TCU, we seen what happened to them.
But I think
That's why-
the thought process is if you let a Colorado or an Indiana in with the strength of schedule that they have, because it's a bigger playoff field, there's more opportunity for them to get weeded out before the national
That's
championship.
right.
You don't end up with that TCU Georgia matchup or that Notre Dame 2012 Notre Dame Alabama matchup.
Yeah. But did you see the strength of schedule? Someone kind of ran a little strength of schedule ranking. They use Massey, Sagarin, and ESPN, and averaged the rank of strength of schedule rankings, and Georgia averaged number 1.
Yeah, I saw that.
Alabama 10, Tennessee the next closest at 21.7, Ole Miss 29.7, Texas 33.3, and then you have BYU at 39.3, and in between that everybody else. And guess what? Indiana at like 83.
I saw them down at like 117. But if we're talking,
they got them averaged.
Okay, I got you.
But if you notice, the top 6 are SEC schools.
Absolutely, and I mean it should be.
Here's what happens. Look, let's be real. Well, you know what? Colorado just missed it they were the first one out, or Indiana, got shit on because they left them out because they had one loss. Well, what's going to happen? Did they say, okay, let's expand to 16 teams? What's going to happen?
I think what's going to happen is, because here's a couple things that are going on with this this committee. They're setting a couple of precedents, right? The first one being that strength of schedule doesn't matter. Okay. Mm-hmm. So for Alabama to go on the road and play Wisconsin absolutely makes no sense when we can just bring a Mercer to town, or, so there's that, right? So let's go ahead and start scratching those non-com games, get them off the schedule. But the other thing that it's doing is I think that if it could potentially stain the conference championships. I think that instead of them expanding, the next step is going to be to absolve conference championships, because somebody who's good, just like last year happened, somebody who's good, who deserves to be in that field, is going to get left out because of conference championship.
Yep.
And it doesn't make sense if I'm Alabama and I'm not going to win the championship, or I'm not even going to make the championship and get that first round bye. Why not take the championship week and consider that your bye?
Yeah.
Consider that your bye week. It doesn't make sense.
Have the option to opt out. Give them the option to opt out. You don't have to play it if it doesn't matter.
The problem is you lose way too much money.
I know that, but it's this is why we need
a group of 5 needs to be out.
The East and West.
Yeah, so I think these automatic qualifiers, Chris, yes, back in the SEC, you have to have the East and West conferences.
Yep.
Group of 5 needs to be gone. I am so tired of that group of 5 argument. I get it. It started with Boise State a few years ago when they were decent with Kellen Moore, but I'm done with the group of 5. And then I think I'm so sick of the automatic qualifiers. It is. If Colorado wins the Big 12, Colorado is a good football team this year. Are they as good as a Georgia or an Ohio State? Absolutely not. They're going to get one of those 4 spots if they win the Big 12, right?
Yep.
As a conference champion,
yep.
Right? When somebody much more deserving, who's played a more grueling schedule, now has to play an even tougher schedule to get to the championship game or to even get to the second round. Yeah, it's bullcrap, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like Miami, I get it. All of my Miami friends, I'm sorry to say this out loud. Miami does not have a defense to hold. I don't think Cam Ward is as good as everybody wanted you to think. You guys played a really bad Florida team, and the hype train kicked off right then and there.
Yep.
I don't think Miami is that good. I think if Miami wins the ACC, they're going to get embarrassed in the playoffs. I think
Look,
the same thing will happen to several teams.
here's what's going to happen. This is what I think. They didn't like the BCS because it was unfair.
Yeah.
Well, now they had a 14 playoff. Well, you know what? It's unfair. Let's expand it to 12. Couple of years, 12's not going to be fair. We need 16.
Yeah.
It's going to be a circle of life, and guess what? It's going to come back to
BCS.
They're going to go back to a BCS model and take the human element out of it.
Hey, the BCS had it right just about every
Yeah.
year. I can't think of a year where the BCS did not. Maybe 2004. That was a weird year, where Auburn kind of got left out, and they probably. I know we don't want to talk about that, but Auburn was one of the best teams in the country that year. But sorry, I was reading comments. Yes, deserving is not a word written in the criteria. It's best teams, and they did that last year. And they got it right last year. I think the year before that, not so much with the 14 playoff. The problem is right now this committee, it's like they're not even watching games. They don't understand that not all conferences are created equal. The Big Ten right now is Ohio State and Oregon. One of the next best teams in the Big Ten, Alabama, in week 2, 3, went up to their place and beat the brakes off of them. I don't know, man. It's tough. BCS model had Texas left out last year. It did. I don't know that Texas was one of the best teams in the country. I think they caught Alabama early enough in the season to where you couldn't do anything. And so, but again, you look at Texas right now. Everybody is high on Texas. Texas looks like the best team in the country. When they play a ranked team, no, they don't. They struggled against Arkansas last week. What happened when Georgia came to town?
Mm-hmm.
They got throttled. They got destroyed. So, dude, it's tough, man.
I don't think there's any scenario we host a playoff game, Caleb. I don't, because if we win the SEC, we get a bye. Yep. If we lose, we'll get a lower seed that doesn't host. So I don't think it's in the cards to host. Yeah. I don't think there's any way we can host it.
Playoffs aside, to get there, Alabama has to take care of business this Saturday as they travel to Norman, Oklahoma to take on new SEC foe, OU. Brent Venables, OU, I should add. A team who has job. Do what?
Is he coaching for his job?
I don't think so. I think you got to get Venables some time, man.
Yeah.
To fire a first year guy in the SECs, that's a lot. But who knows? I think Oklahoma poses a trickier problem than most Alabama fans realize or are willing to admit. Oklahoma has a top 20 defense. They're one of the best and most efficient defenses in the SEC. Alabama, the most efficient defense that they've played so far this season has been guess. Anybody want to guess who it was?
I don't know. Efficient. I don't know what qualifies efficient, but
third down defense stops, fourth down defensive stops. Yeah.
I don't know. Tennessee, maybe.
Yes, it was Tennessee. Alabama's offense did not bode well against Tennessee. Now the big question mark is: was Jalen Milroe healthy in that game?
That was more Milroe than Tennessee. I think.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Biased.
I'm with you. That's what I'm building up to. Is you decide. So going into Norman, Alabama did show, and I don't think LSU was as good as the media wanted them to be for that Alabama LSU matchup. But Alabama showed that they could indeed, when they're clicking on all cylinders, go into the most hostile environment in college football and beat the shit out of somebody. Mm-hmm. So can they do it?
That place was empty in the third quarter.
Yes. So
Let's do that
can they
again.
do it at Oklahoma? Oklahoma has struggled with injuries at the wideout position all season. A lot of their losses have come because they haven't had their quarterbacks. They benched Jackson. Oh, what is? I'm gonna say Jackson Dart, Jackson Arnold, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They. Sorry, I should know that. They benched him for a while. Well, now he's playing again. He's playing. I don't think that they're going to have their full wide receiving core available for this game. But that aside, Alabama's defense is really coming into their own. I will say, if you go back and watch that LSU game, Nussmeier did not struggle because he sucks. Nussmeier struggled because Alabama had their wide receivers locked down the entire night. And the same thing, I get it was Mercer, but the same thing against Mercer last week, same thing happened against Missouri 3 weeks ago. I expect a lot more of that out of Alabama, even on the road, just because that confidence is building in this youthful secondary. And I think that's going to be the difference in the game turnovers. What do you guys think? What's the key to this game here at Oklahoma?
Score more points.
I think it's just like LSU. It's keeping the chains, playing in front of the chains, keeping the clock moving, keeping the defense on the sideline with fresh legs.
Yeah.
And
I think we've got to be
Milroe gash slowly takes your will and takes the crowd out of the game. And next thing you know, it's quiet and Milroe trucking.
Yeah. Also, something that helped a lot at LSU was that new snap count that they were using. They weren't using the clap. And I think that
tapped his leg.
Yeah, that will serve them very well. If Alabama is ultimately efficient on first down, I think this game could get ugly very quickly. I think that Oklahoma's defense is a product of who they've played. Venables is a great defensive mind, but I don't see how Oklahoma could go from what they were last year to this year. Chris likes to feel it in his plums. That quick of a turnaround. And so Jalen Milroe, I think, is the answer there. And I will say, I saw some things that they did against Mercer, some of these reverses and things like that I think are going to help Alabama just really stretch the field, tire out that defense. And I like Lance's score prediction there. We won't go too far into scores yet because we got to do picks, but anything else we're not talking about, chat? What are your keys to the game? Lance says, run the ball, as always.
Run the
Yeah, we talked
ball.
about that just a little while ago. So, by the way, Seth McLaughlin took the run the damn ball saying up to Ohio State and turned it into a brand that he's now selling. AK, why are you trying to sell Yay Alabama, bro? Give us $1.
See, yeah, we need a.
Yeah, give me $1. So, Richard Young takes some snaps. I think Young's one of those guys that's just like, hey, you know what? I'm going to bide my time, and he knows he's going to be part of the big show next season. And
I mean, look at how many running backs we've had that did that. They just sat back and waited and waited.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's true.
I'm confused. Yeah, lots of pressure. And the way Jihad Campbell's been playing, man, that guy's been playing out of his freaking mind.
That also coincides with the defense suddenly playing well is the fact that he's become an absolute.
But this is a defense nobody had any faith in and wanted Womack fired and DeBoer gone, and now all of a sudden, it's the best thing ever.
You know who else is having a really good year quietly that nobody's talking about? He was out for a couple of games where we struggled, and I told you guys if he's on the field, Alabama's defense looks different, who I think is going to have a big impact in this game. Mr. Justin Mother effing Jefferson is who I'm talking about. Keep an eye on that guy in this game. So, it'll be interesting.
Did you see the I saw this graphic earlier. We're talking about players that Bray Hubbard and Malachi Moore are one of the only pair of safeties that are ranked in the top 10 on the same team.
Oh, I'm not surprised. Hubbard has been a very pleasant surprise this season.
Ranked in the top 10 what?
Just in safeties.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bray played in like 2 games.
Hubbard is number 2 among safeties.
He's looked good. He's going to get burned at some point. Like, it's going to happen.
I mean, it's going to happen.
Don't snap on the guy when it does.
Don't say take him out.
Yeah. Just let it happen. It's okay. It's going to be fine. Keon Sabb's season is done, and so Hubbard will be the guy the rest of the way, assuming he does not get hurt. Knock on wood.
I know the guy hits the freight train, so it's like they got to give him that Reuben Foster neck roll if he keeps laying people out.
Yep.
He does kind of have that throwback. He's Vinny Sinceri if Vinny Sinceri had pass protection. And so I always felt like Vinny's game was run support. So
I thought he looks bigger than Vinny.
Championship if they win out. It's likely if Alabama wins out, there's a very good chance that they will play likely Texas in the SEC championship. And look,
I would almost say Alabama's locked in.
As long as they don't lose another game.
Yeah.
Well, we have 2 games left. Not locked into nothing yet, just yet. I hope they're not saying that in the locker room.
just wait, AK. We're working on some things. Michael's
Yeah. So
that's true, AK.
We are back up to being remonetized. That'll be taken care of here in the next few days. So if you want to give us money, we will take your money. So anyway, just kidding. Not really. Anyway,
I buy that for $1.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
all right, guys.
RoboCop reference there.
Yeah.
We need to make some picks.
I'd buy that for $1.
You kind of look like him, Jeff.
I actually watched that movie not too long ago. That's a classic.
Really?
I love that movie. That's
Eric. I've given up. I don't care about Caleb Downs anymore. He's gone. He's dead to me.
Yeah.
Poor Peter Murphy. Peter Murphy got killed. They brought him back and made him go to work.
Case spray with the comment of the night.
That's a different show.
Honky Badger was pretty funny. Colin Bray, Honky Badger.
Honky Badger? Oh, dude. Who said that?
Case spray.
Case spray. Put that on a shirt, dude, quickly.
Was that Cat that said that? Oh, there it is. Yeah, there it is. Sorry.
Yeah, Cat, what are you doing?
Sorry, Cat. I gave somebody the wrong credit.
Yeah,
sorry.
Cat, you got to put that on a shirt ASAP. That's good stuff. The Honky Badger. I love it. I'm
That's
probably going to use that
right
Saturday. So be looking out for the tweet, Cat. I'll give you a shout out.
Hashtag it. Manifest it.
Hashtag Honky Badger.
You're a racist, man.
It's fine.
Man.
White people.
That's hilarious.
Oh, guys, do we need to be worried?
Yes.
Eric, you missed it. Yes, you need to be worried about everybody flipping because nobody
until their name is signed.
I can say on good, almost. I'm gonna say I'm 95% sure he's flipping.
Ty?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Based on
that's just what I was told earlier.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna laugh so hard if he don't.
I hope he doesn't.
You get told a lot of stuff. None of it's
I was told a few things that come true. So,
J-Bake, I think it'll be the other way around if it happens.
I hope you're wrong. I hope he doesn't flip. I hope
because
I'm looking at Russell and his left tackle.
It's always flip season nowadays.
Who is paying AK?
Yeah,
who's paying him?
That's a. I don't know,
is Yay Alabama paying him?
That might be Courtney Morgan.
Is that the
Gotcha.
Pay to court?
Oh, all right, guys.
Eric, none of that matters when we talking big Benjamins, baby. No.
Look, if Bama loses one of these top-star linemen, it's okay. Alabama, listen, guys. Alabama is not going to finish with the number 1 class in the country. Georgia is going to finish with the number 1 class in the country. That is okay. Alabama doesn't have to do that this year. It is amazing that Nick Saban retired and Alabama is going to finish with a top 5 class. That is bonkers. It's nuts. Guys, give up on Justice Terry. He's not coming to Alabama. He's actually going to visit Auburn this weekend for whatever damn reason. I don't know.
Because he can.
They're probably paying him, whatever. If he doesn't get to the Iron Bowl, he's not coming to Alabama.
No.
Alabama's going to have to pick up a couple of 3 stars to fill out scholarships, and then they're going to supplement in the portal, and it is okay. It is fine. Right now, we have the number 2 class in the country. We're probably going to finish at 3, 4, or 5. It is okay. We're going to be fine.
And that's what we said all along. If he finishes top 5 this year, it'll be an outstanding job he's done, considering it's a spot nobody's ever been in before.
Yep.
And to get top 5 is incredible job.
Yeah.
And let's face it, top 5 class is still full of talent.
Let me ask you this. All right. If me and Chris both go and buy trucks, right? We buy a truck. Chris's is a little bit better than mine, but Chris paid $50,000 more than I did for my truck. Am I going to be happy with my truck? And am I going to look at Chris and go, you paid way too much for your truck, man? And go, enjoy it, but you got screwed in the end, right? What am I going to do? Because guess what? When my truck is paid off, I can go buy a newer, better truck. Chris will still be in debt because he overpaid for his truck.
But I'll still be winning national championships.
No, he won't, because he bought a Ford. And so
I guess it's a little, I guess the Gladiator does better.
Hey, I love my Gladiator. He'll be broken down on 65 South, right outside of Montgomery, sitting on blocks.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep. It'll be.
Let's make some picks, baby. Where we at?
We don't.
This
This
is great here.
We don't have a pick.
Sponsored by Whiteout. That's a T-shirt, man. That's another T-shirt.
You guys got some great T-shirt ideas. If you don't use them, I'm going to steal them. So, this is recorded, so I can go back and get all your ideas.
That's great.
Yep. And we will file for trademark rights and copyright tonight.
Yeah, and I'll go, hey man, I'm sorry, you snooze, you lose.
That's it.
Oh gosh, that's too funny.
We'll be like Ray Kroc and the McDonald brothers.
That's right. So we got no picks this week, really?
No, we do. We got plenty of them.
Okay, I was like, damn.
You were in the damn text when I sent them to everybody.
Dude, that feels like it was last week, bro.
It kind of was. It was like Monday.
Oh, so yeah, basically. All right,
Yeah.
Cool. All right,
like
Chris,
3 weeks ago to Michael.
All right.
Chat, you know the drill. We'll give you a couple seconds to answer.
Bill has sent me all of his picks because he's out defending something. I don't know what, but starting off at 11 a.m. kickoff, Indiana at Ohio State. Ohio State is favored by 11.5.
All right, chat, what you got? I think I know where everybody's going on this one.
I know where everybody's going.
Cat said he's out defending sand. I don't like sand.
You've seen enough of it.
It's coarse.
Yeah. It
gets everywhere.
Yeah.
Which is the single worst scene in Star Wars lore.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. All right, AK's got OSU. J-Bake with the Indiana pick. Going hard on the first one. Okay, so
I can't do that. I'm going to Ohio State. If that game was in Indiana, I might give him a shot, but I don't think.
Yeah. I'm going with Ohio State big. I think it's going to be way more than 11.
Yeah, definitely. If it's a blowout, Indiana's out.
Hey, Screet, remember that. I want that remembered.
Yeah, you know what? I'll make a note.
You can have the show.
if it happens, he can come on and run the show next week.
Yeah, we'll let him. Bill, make
if Indiana wins?
Yeah. No, speaking before we move on any further.
Sorry.
Next week is Thanksgiving. What are we doing?
I will be back in Alabama next week.
All right. So what night are we doing the show?
So I'm leaving Tuesday night, and I'll be in Alabama from Tuesday to Sunday. But I won't have a setup. I'm staying with my mom. So to see her.
All right. Looks like it's me and Jeff.
I can hop on. It's just
Bill may be back.
Bill will be back.
I might hop in. It just depends on the night.
I guess.
Working.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Well, I guess I'll have to run. You know what? I'll do it by myself, and I'll bring some of our faithful followers on.
One thing I do know is that whatever night the college football playoff ranks, seedings, and all that's announced,
the final.
We're going live we're going live that night for instant reactions and all that stuff. We got a pretty big thing on. We're working out with some guests and all that for that Sunday night reaction show. So
real big
chat. Mark your calendar for December the 8th. I guess that's Sunday night, the 8th, right?
Yep.
Yep. There's 456 of you watching. All of you.
Yes. So please join us on Sunday night, the 8th.
Yep.
Got a few guests lined up. We're going to do some live reaction stuff to the final seedings and matchups and all that stuff. So
okay.
Mark your calendar.
I'll be in Northeast Alabama. My mother lives up there, and she's not doing great, so we're going to spend the holiday with her. So.
Hell, Eric, if you want to come on, you can. Let me know.
What's he going to come on?
Oh boy. Okay. Next game. Next pick.
Want to see my horse?
Wrong show. This
Uh-huh.
ain't Tijuana, baby. All right, let's go.
All right. Ole Miss at Florida, 11 a.m. kickoff. Ole Miss favored by 9.5.
All right, chat. Let's hear it. Give him a second. I got a feeling this one's going to go.
I think it's going to be split.
I think it's going to be split too. Cat says the Gatos. The Cats are winning. The Gators. AK says Ole Miss. This is after dark material. It was. Tim, Florida. Lagway peeking at the right. A lot of people picking Florida.
Yeah.
Florida got nothing to lose, man. They got nothing to lose but play spoiler, and they fist to embrace it.
You going with Florida, Jeff?
The Gators.
The Gators.
I'm taking the Gators too.
Take a look at this beauty.
Oh, look at that. Well, Bill took Ole Miss, and I'm taking Ole Miss because
Here's the thing, man. Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
I mean, I think Lane's got something to prove now.
I don't think Ole Miss is as good as the media wants you to think.
I think they might be. I tell you what,
Florida's peaking at the right time.
He's got him a national championship quarterback sitting in number 2. He's in that number 2 spot, man.
Maybe.
I think he does.
That's why Caleb went. That's why Caleb flipped over there. So I'm taking the Gators. All right.
Well, y'all take them. You take them.
Gators do you special. And they're much like Alabama. Much like Alabama, they're growing into how good they are.
The Gator D is growing. That's right. All right, Penn State at Minnesota. Penn State favored by 11.5, and that's a 2:30 kickoff.
It's 2:30. It's at Minnesota.
Yep.
I think it's going to probably be closer than you think, but give me the Nittany Lions.
No, I'm taking the Lions.
We got to set James Franklin up
Penn
to
State.
get just absolutely massacred in the playoffs. So.
Yes.
It's going to happen.
All right, let's see. BYU at Arizona State. Arizona State favored by 3.5, 2:30 kickoff. So that'll be a 12:30 kickoff for them or 1:30. I can't remember.
I'm taking Arizona State in that game.
I'm going with Arizona State.
Give me the Sun Devils.
The Sun Devils. All right.
Chat seems to agree with us.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're. I picked them last week. They're hot right now.
They're Devils. Of course they are.
Sun Devil. It's the devil.
They're Sun Devils.
Sun Devils.
The devil.
I mean, I would think they were hot.
3:15 kickoff in Starkville, Mississippi. Mizzou travels to take on the Bulldogs. Mizzou favored by 8.
Chat, who you got?
Is Drinkwitz a big enough douchebag to lose this game?
No. I think he is, but I don't think he will.
He's not losing this game.
No.
Yeah.
No, Missouri redeems themselves. We, as an Alabama fan, we need Missouri to at least look like a quality opponent. So give me Mizzou.
Yeah, same. Mizzou.
All right. 6 p.m. kickoff.
Cat, you're right. The Steelers game is awful to watch.
Army travels to wherever the hell Notre Dame is at.
South Bend, Indiana.
Yeah, that's it. Notre Dame favored by 17. Bill actually picked Notre Dame.
Well, yeah, because Army sucks. But
yeah,
I will
you know how Bill feels about them.
Isn't Army undefeated?
If you guys haven't seen the uniforms that Army's going to wear, they're going to look a little quirky. I definitely suggest that you do your research. It's to honor the 101st Airborne. Is it 101st or 82nd? I can't remember.
Yeah, you should know that.
Sure.
I can't remember which one they're doing.
It's one of them.
Oh, 101st. Yeah, it's 101st.
Yeah.
I know the difference between the units. I just don't know which one they're doing. Yeah, 101st is to honor 101st Airborne. For those of you, there's a lot of military history with that unit, especially World War II, Easy Company from 506, in Bastogne, things like that. So definitely, I'll be pulling for Army, and those uniforms look fly, but give me the Golden Domers.
What about
Isn't
you?
Army undefeated?
Yeah, that doesn't mean.
No.
Jeff with the sinister smile.
I mean,
It's like they don't give Army any love, but they made Indiana a top 5 team, and they both have the same resume. What's the difference?
Are you gonna pick? Are you picking Notre Dame, Jeff? Hell no. All right,
he's going to pull a Pat McAfee.
No, I'm taking Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
All that just to pick Notre Dame.
Yeah, I know. Like Sleepy Joe.
Yeah. All right. Is that it?
All right. No, we got some more, man. Texas A&M at Auburn, 6:30 p.m. kickoff.
This is the biggest lock of the season.
Favored by 2.5.
A&M 10 times.
Wait, say it again.
I said Texas A&M all night and twice on Sunday. It has nothing to do with Texas A&M. It has everything to do with Alabama.
Give me Auburn.
You think Hugh Freeze has spent 1 minute on this game? No chance.
Give me Auburn.
Been prepping for Alabama since April.
Yep.
And it's clear if you watch their games, you can tell they spend no time on their opponent.
I'm taking A&M.
What are you doing down there, Michael?
Giga, he's
playing with tape. Sorry.
Hey, what are you doing?
Hey, put it on your nose and eyes.
Remember the pig lady from that used to do the Suey videos from Arkansas? J-Bake, I think it's Auburn too, man. I don't think Auburn's good, but I think that Auburn has a really good defense, and it's a night game in Georgia.
It'll be all right. They're
much like they're doing with their recruiting class, they're going to blow their load and drop an egg against Alabama the following
blow their load. That's right.
Wasn't it a night game in Jordan Hare last year when New Mexico State with Diego went in there and won?
No, I think that was an 11 o'clock kickoff.
Was it an 11 o'clock game?
I might be wrong.
I think A&M because I don't think Auburn cares any flips about this game. I think they're all iron ball.
Who's starting at quarterback? Wigman or Marcel Reed?
And they don't even know. They'll run whoever out there. They don't care. I think they don't care anything about this game.
Okay.
They'll go out there and play, but I think their focus is on Alabama.
Mm-hmm. All right. Moving on. Vanderbilt at LSU. 6:45 kickoff, and LSU's favored by 9.
I think Vandy could get them. I think Vandy could give them some serious problems, but they're not going to. I will say if they were to lose to Vandy, listen here, boys and girls. Again, this ain't old school Vandy. This ain't basketball school Vandy. If it happens, Brian Kelly can go on and start packing bags because they're going to kick his ass clean out of Baton Rouge. Pimp walk Vandy, but I'm going to take LSU.
I don't have the balls to take Vandy. I think I could easily see him winning this game, but I just don't have the balls to take him at night in Baton Rouge. I can't.
No, they're not quite there. They're better, but they're not there yet.
Yeah, they're better, but not there yet.
Anchor down.
Oh.
All right, this might be the game of the week here. Colorado at Kansas, and it's a 2:30 p.m. kickoff. Colorado favored by 2.5.
Chat, who you got? Tell us.
Nerds.
Nerd. I think they're talking about us. No way.
We're like the Tri-Lambs.
Nerds. Where are they?
Delta Q.
Talking about us, Lewis. No way.
Oh, J-Bait.
Oh my gosh, does Brian Kelly really have a $60 million buyout?
Yeah.
Well, don't worry about it. He'll be just fine the next 2 years. They're not moving on him.
Oh,
They're not going to pay that.
Kansas, Mr. Big.
Yeah.
Okay, he picked the Bucks.
I mean, Orgeron's buyout was like $12 million.
Riley.
They'll pay that in a second. They're not paying 60.
I'm going to go with Colorado. As much as I don't want Colorado to be good, Shedeur Sanders is doing his thing. So is Travis Hunter. They've got plenty of complementary pieces. And give me the Buffs.
Same.
You going with the Buffs, Jeff?
Yep.
Colorado being good is good.
I'm going Colorado.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's going to be more than 2 as well.
It's a good story. They sucked last year, and Deion took a lot of crap. But
Hey, I thought it was going to be the same thing this year, and so far I was wrong. And it's good for college
so
football.
kudos to Prime, man. I mean, he's got it wrong.
Yes.
Somebody he just got to flip there too, even though he's going to be the Cowboys coach next year. But still,
Oh, that's all the Cowboys need. They just
speaking
need
of
their
getting fired,
quarterback.
please drop the Mike McCarthy. He's about to be on that
That's it. Yep.
that line.
Oh, let's see. Oh, here it is. The one we've been waiting on. Bama at Oklahoma. Bama favored by 14. 6:30 p.m. kickoff.
Oh, Oklahoma. Where
Bama by 100.
Bama by 100.
Here we go. I think we're going to run right through him.
Like shit through a tin horn.
AK, you pick Oklahoma, man? You trolling?
Man, get your ass
I was
out
like,
here.
damn,
I'm
he's
not-
trolling.
He just psyched you out.
here.
Made you look.
I was about to kick his ass clean.
Bye. Bye.
He got me.
Made you look.
I got him.
Give me Bama, but they don't cover.
They don't cover.
No.
Let me make a note. Let me make a note here. Oh, I'm gonna say Bama. I'm gonna say Bama, and it's enough that Milroe doesn't play in the fourth quarter.
Damn.
Yes, murder ball.
We're going to empty another stadium on the road?
Shoo, you damn right.
Yep.
I like it. I hope you're right. I just hope that they save some because you better believe Auburn's going to bring it in Tuscaloosa.
Yep. That's
I
why
know-
I think
there you go.
I know they
they're
suck.
gonna get
but They're going to
watered by
play.
A&M because their
Yep.
focus is only on one thing.
They're gonna bring it.
They're going to play like primetime Patriots with Tom Brady.
Let me tell you something. We, in the past, when we've played them in Bryant Denny, we've busted their ass like we should have. It's the Jordan Hare games that are all the weird stuff and all the crazy stuff and all that. So, forgive me, but I'm much more confident in this year's game because it's in Bryant Denny.
Yeah, Jeff, hopefully every one of them.
We hope.
We're not really sure yet. Visitor lists aren't completely set.
No.
I will say this, and I know one guy that everybody's really hoping Bama can land, and I think Bama's finding themselves out of contention for is Justice Terry. If Justice Terry finds himself at the Iron Bowl, I think Bama might stand a good chance at getting him.
Yep.
But that's a big if.
Who's the giant Gonzalez guy that the JUCO guy that's like 9 feet tall and that committed to us? What's his name? I think he's a defensive lineman. Y'all know what I'm talking about? He's humongous. There's been pictures of him.
I don't know who you're talking about, but I'm gonna look it up.
No. Cavante Henry.
No. Is it the
JUCO
guy that is it the guy I shared the other day on
Maybe.
Twitter?
Maybe.
Probably. I can't remember.
Maybe.
I remember how big he was. Yeah, Lance with me, the Canadian. Let's have to pay him in, euros or whatever they're.
I don't think it works that way.
Is it
I don't think Canadian.
Steve Mbamua, however you say it?
Is he a defensive lineman?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, K-Spray's right. Yeah. The
Oh,
dude,
Cavante Henry. Yeah, dude. Sorry.
I just said that.
Thank you, K-Spray. You said it, Chris?
Yeah.
I can't.
I didn't know that was his
I'm
name,
not-
though,
Jim-
but I just
Jim was
remember this
thinking who I was thinking.
sheer size of him. But he posted something that his recruitment was over. Like he's shutting his down.
Yeah, and that makes me question whether Terry wants to commit, but Georgia's got like 8 guys locked up at that position. So
Yeah.
it's
Going to become a numbers game.
Yeah. So maybe Auburn throws a really big bag at him and he commits there. He is going to visit there this weekend, so we'll see. But he'll play there day one. But Terry, because he's going to wait, I don't think Terry's going to sign until February anyway. He might. He doesn't strike me as the kind that's going to commit right after a visit like that. So
the guys that are having their cake are not going to. I'd be surprised if any of them sign in December. The guys that want to be somewhere and know where they want to be, I think will sign in December. The guys that are still taking the visits and thinking about where they want to go,
It'll be February.
where they want to go, they'll wait.
Yeah.
They'll drag this out as long as they possibly can. Remember, Terrell Pryor didn't even sign on signing day. He signed like 3 weeks after signing day, and it's like, come on, man. You're getting recruited for 3 years. You know where you want to play.
that's true. That's true. That's what AK said.
It's even worse nowadays because you're just like, well, I got till February to field offers, monetary offers.
Yep. Yep. And don't forget, they can request out of those national letters of intent. And so, but I think now the deal is once this financial aid is enacted, they're kind of stuck until portals and stuff. And look, Bama's going to get ravaged in the portal again. We're going to lose some guys in the portal. Just like everybody else. Don't lose your shit when it happens. It's going to be okay.
For everybody we lose, just think we're going to gain somebody. That's one spot to gain someone. And if you think DeBoer is not going to be active in portal as well, I think he's going to be very active there.
Howard, you talking about Decoria Moore? Oh, I'm not surprised by that if that's who it is, because I mean, sorry, Jeff. He's been committed to Oregon for a while. Alabama fans, for whatever reason, keep saying he was going to flip to Alabama. That was not going to happen. Alabama wasn't going to pay him what Oregon's paying because it's not worth what Oregon's paying him. I'm not saying he's not a great player, but listen, man, you screw around and spend too much money on these kids, and yeah, you might have a year or two of success, but you're not setting yourself up for success in the long run. A lot of schools are doing that right now. Auburn has a lot of money, but they can't afford to pay people like they've been doing this season for 5, 6, 7 years. They can't. They're paying too many head coaches they fired. So
they're going to wait till they roll off the books.
That's right. So,
2030.
we got the guy that makes Decoria Moore look good. All right, guys. Well, I think that's going to do it. Before we go, y'all know the drill. Do the damn thing.
That's true, Lance. Lance is right. Jamie French fooling around and going to wind up with the leftovers.
I'm watching him. I don't want to get anybody's.
Is he in Texas now? Didn't he verbal to Texas now?
Yeah, but he's taking visits again out of nowhere.
I'd say
he'll be in Florida this
2 or
weekend.
3 places or 2 places, whatever.
Yeah, he'll be at Florida this weekend. So just keep an eye. I'm not saying. Listen, here's the drill. I'm gonna tell all y'all this. You watch the visitors list for the Iron Bowl very, very, very closely. Follow the visits. Watch that visitors list. That's all I'm saying. If somebody's name pops up there out of nowhere, that's not a bad sign. So, but as always, you know the drill. Please do all the dang things and like and share and comment. Tell your grandma and your mama and your meemaw. You're going to have Thanksgiving this week. So while you're sitting around the table, instead of talking about politics, talk to them about Waaaay Offsides. Show them where we are.
Absolutely.
Steal their phones and make them subscribe. So
we appreciate that too. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we love each and every one of you guys. I know a lot of you are kind of our old timers. You're Lance, Howard, Tim, J-Bay. If I didn't say her name, Kat. A lot of you K-Spray, y'all are in here all the time. We appreciate you. You keep the wheels turning on this bad boy. So But as always, say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands. What comes next?
Beat
Horns
LSU. Horns down.
Beat Auburn.
Auburn.
And
Tennessee
LSU and Tennessee too. Let me find the outro. I found it. Roll Tide.